In this video, I'm going to go over how you do the Practice Forum 2 in English 101. First of all, you're going to look at this worksheet. So you're going to notice that there are 10 options on this worksheet. And so what you're going to do is you're going to compare two of these writing prompts. So you have 10 writing prompts. Number 1, write an essay in which you convince high school students that participation in student activities benefits the whole school. Number 2, write a testimony of your relationship with God. Number 3, write a speech to be delivered at a conference with fellow teachers. Number 4, you are giving a speech with other marketing professionals at a workplace. Number 5, you are doing a research paper for your Civics 101 class. Number 6, your small business has recently had a rash of shoplifters hit the business at its busiest times. Create a short presentation where you reinforce the loss prevention techniques to your sales staff and security personnel. Number 7, you are a president of your company, and you notice that as the school year goes on, more and more students are arriving late. Since this impacts academic achievement and attendance money for the school, you decide to create a series of funny reminders to be delivered in the morning announcements to remind students of the importance of getting to school on time. You're going to write an email to parents of your son's soccer team to remind them of appropriate behavior and language at the team games. Write an email to a professor to appeal a grade you received on a writing assignment. The professor marked you a 0 for an aspect citing that it was not included in the submission, but you have proof that it was. The professor has asked students to contact her with any concerns about grades. Number 10, for your work, you have been asked to write a letter to your employer explaining why you should be promoted. So here you have 10 different situations and 10 different writing prompts. Each of these writing prompts requires different tone, different diction, has a different purpose, and requires either informal or formal English. And so what you're going to do in your Venn diagram, is you're going to choose two of these prompts, and you're going to compare two of these situations in your prompt. So here is an example Venn dialogue. Churches versus work. So I chose prompt number 2. Okay, prompt number 2. Let's go to prompt number 2. Write a testimony of your relationship with God to be given at your church. How has God moved in your life in the past year? So I put prompt number 2, the church, on this Venn diagram, and then I compared the church with prompt number 4. Number 4 is other marketing professionals and your workplace are interested in using a new design tool. You have used it before and like it very much. Design a presentation to be given in a marketing meeting at your workplace that describes the tool and how you used it. Convince the other marketing professionals they should use it too. So I decided to compare being at church versus being at the office. Okay, so church versus office. So what kind of tone, purpose, occasion am I? So you're going to compare the church. So I compared the church, number 2, and number 4, the office, marketing professionals, number 2 and number 4 off of this worksheet. And then I created my Venn in which I compared prompt number 2 from the worksheet, and then I compared it to prompt number 4 from the worksheet. And then I compared the purpose, audience, occasion, diction, tone, and style. So purpose for the church, show how God has impacted your life. So that's the purpose. Audience, casual, other church members, family, friends, and loved ones. occasion, church gathering. Diction, informal conversations. English, using Bible examples and parables where applicable. Tone and style, use of first-person case, I, my, us, them, we, and second-person case, you and your. So at church, you can use first and second-person case. You can be extremely personal about yourself and your life. Use of active voice and casual tone. So when you are with your friends and family, you can use a more casual tone, conversational English, which is why when you write emails to your friends and family, you can use first and second person case. And then the second place that I compared it to is the office. Write an oral presentation where you will convince other marketing professionals to use a new marketing tool. So the purpose, create a PowerPoint to convince other marketing professionals to use a new marketing tool. Audience, other marketing professionals who have the same expertise as you do. Occasion, workplace, oral presentation. Diction, formal English, no slang, no cliches, no contractions. Tone and style, use of third-person case, he, she, they. Use of passive voice, professional tone. So here you have two different cases, two different places, the church versus the office. So in the office, we use a more formal English, while at church and with our friends, we use a more casual English. So this week, we want to compare when we use casual English, first and second person case, and when we use more formal English, third person case. So just all you have to do is choose two of these prompts from this worksheet and then compare these prompts using comparing purpose, audience, occasion, diction, tone, and style. So that was what I chose when I did the assignment. And then other students, they wrote about why they chose their prompts. I chose number 1 because, I chose number 10 because, and then after that, they posted their, so this is by a student. This student chose prompt number 1 and prompt number 8. So write an essay in which you convince other high school students that participation in student activities benefits the whole school. So here the purpose of writing is to highlight the importance of participation. The style of writing is knowledgeable. The audience is everyone. The occasion is at a college. Diction is formal, no slang. And the tone is optimistic. Here, you're writing an email to parents, to other parents. So here, if you're going to write an email to parents, inform parents regarding inappropriate behavior at a soccer field. Style of writing, very professional. Audience, parents of other soccer players. Occasion, complaint, use of inappropriate language in the soccer field. Diction, formal English. Tone and style, neutral, professional, warning, but not too intimidating. And so she did number 1, prompt number 1, and prompt number 8. This person did prompt number 10 and prompt number 3. Write a letter to your employer explaining why you should be promoted. And then versus write a research paper on texting while driving a Civic. So here you compare the office versus writing a research paper. So here she says that when she wants to write to her employer, the purpose is to get a better position at the workplace. Audience is her employer or other professionals. Occasion, she wants to get promoted. Diction, informative, sharp, and passionate. Tone and style, so she wants to sell herself as saying that she is the one to be promoted, so she can use first and second person case. Yes, if you want to try to sell yourself or sell an object, you can use first and second person case if you're doing a persuasive message to sell an object to the audience. So there she did number 10 to get herself promoted. Versus number 3, writing a research paper. When you write a research paper, you have to write it in third person case only, and you have to avoid using, although she says using second person case, but when you write a research paper, you should actually write in third person case. So basically, this is a pretty easy assignment where you just compare and contrast 2 different situations, and then basically one situation could be formal English versus the other situation could be informal English. And so the purpose of this whole assignment is to see whether or not the student understands the difference between using formal English for, say, the workplace, formal English for your research paper, and then informal English, for example, at home or at church. So they're testing you to see if you know how to analyze 2 different places, 2 different occasions, and when to use proper English, when to use slang, when is informal English, and when is formal English. So basically that is what's being contrasted in all of these situations, is seeing whether or not you know how to speak. When you're at home, you can go slang, you can speak your native language, and then when you go to your office, you've got to speak English. So that pretty much, and in your church, at your church, for instance, I went to a Chinese church. So when we were at the Chinese church, obviously we spoke Chinese, we used first person, second person case, we used slang, and we were semi-formal, but we were very loose and casual because we were among friends and family, as opposed to, okay, now that I'm at the office, I'm not going to speak Chinese anymore. I'm going to speak English so other Americans can understand what I'm saying, and then I'm going to speak formal English so that people could see that I'm a professional. So basically that's the purpose of this assignment, is to, Chinese at home, English at work if you're bilingual, or informal English at home and then formal English at work. So that's all this whole forum is to give you different situations and test you to see what kind of English you would use, whether you're going to speak Spanish or Chinese or whatnot at home, and then you go off into the outside world and you just speak English. And you speak formal or informal English, depending on if you're with American friends, that's informal English, and then American workplace, that becomes formal English. And so that this whole week is all about learning when to use formal and informal English, when to have a formal and informal tone, and also about social register and code switching. You can Google code switching and social register to find out that we speak differently when we speak to different people. That's basically the gist of week 3 in both forums. So if you have any questions about your assignments, you can always email me.